everybody, and welcome to Reaction Shots for July 2024. This month, we are talking about breaking the fourth wall because Deadpool e Wolverine has come out, and there's going to be some breaking the fourth wall in that, I wager. And so we're talking about our faves, when it works and when it doesn't. And whatever else our patrons at patreon.com/reactionshots want to talk about. I am, of course, as always, joined by Eminem, Matt Walden, and Michael, whatever your name is, Michael Huber.
Yo.
Oh, that's us. That's both of us. M&Ms.
M&Ms, dude. M&Ms.
Got to sort out the two brown M&Ms. Yeah.
The peanut butter ones.
Served in a man's shoe. What is it? Like...
Is that Wayne's World?
Yeah, I think it's Wayne's World or
Wayne's World 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go out unless he had a brown M&M served in a man's shoe.
And beat to death with a tiger.
That's what it is. He beat a tiger to death with his own shoe.
That breaks the fourth wall all the time. Wayne's World, the Wayne's World movies.
Yeah. Classic.
Let's do the happy ending.
Yeah, let's do the happy ending. This Oscar scene says Oscars blinking on the bottom. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about what we've enjoyed or hated or watched or just kind of whatever lately. Also, a little housekeeping because I will be on vacation for all of August. The August episode will be early September. So we're going to have sort of a little lengthy period of darkness here, but not too bad. We'll just be like a week late on that probably. And then you'll get 2 in September. So hey.
Sweet.
Okay. Hubie, what have you seen lately?
So many things.
So many things.
I won't talk about Deadpool and Wolverine because it's very fresh.
But you got to see it.
Yeah. I went to the 1 a.m. showing. It was very nice, very quiet, very good. No problems.
Did you like it? Tell me that.
I did. I enjoyed my time. For sure. I enjoyed it.
Did you cry? Like the
No, I did not cry.
Like the headline said.
Like the headline said.
People were crying.
Huber's not a grown man, so he can't cry.
Yeah, I did not cry. And I cry easily at stuff, but I did not cry.
Yeah, I should say that. We're not going to spoil...
Yeah.
We're not probably going to even talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, just because it's too fresh. Just came out.
Yeah, give it a week or so. Weekend at least. A lot of shows going on. So many television shows right now. We are in the prime of the summer. It is just a cataclysmic wave of content, as we all know. Watching The Bear very slowly, 10 out of 10.
Oh, I gotta watch it slowly. I'm watching it too, but oh my god, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so painful. What a painful show.
Yeah,
what a good show.
I didn't remember there were 10 episodes of season 2, so I'm just going so slow. I've watched like 5. And it's
10 episodes of pain.
Yeah.
The editing, they
are out of control.
Their game for editing. Like, masterclass in editing. That first episode too of The Bear, which was just, there was hardly any dialogue. There was some dialogue.
I thought of Isla so many times because of editing and stuff. It was an Isla showpiece. Yeah.
This
very
is my
impressionistic.
This is my thing with The Bear is like, there are so many things about it that sound really interesting to me. And like, everyone's always like, it's amazing. But literally, there has never been a single time anyone has talked to me about The Bear without saying, oh, it's amazing. And then literally same breath, just going, hardest, most depressing show I've ever seen. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay. Like, well, what do I do? Because
I go so slowly because every episode feels like an experience. Like every single episode is high concept, like doing its own thing, whether it's like just a simple, we're in the kitchen making a dish the entire episode, or like Matthew was saying, just like episodes with not a lot of dialogue and just a ton of editing and music. Like they do so many special things on each individual episode that they feel really they feel like a lot each time. Even if it's not super depressing, it's just like every time you watch one, it's like, I'm good for a while.
Yeah.
A full course meal.
Yeah, for sure. Finished Vikings Valhalla on Netflix. That show had no business being so good.
Oh,
I just
nice.
really like. Yeah,
I remember you
really
didn't like it when it came out.
Yeah, the first season was like it was just okay, and then it just grew on me so hard. It ended up being so great. It was just 3 seasons, which was a blessing and a curse because it leaves a lot open, but it also got out before it could fall off the rails. So I just love the history of it, like this is at a time when the church is like the mafia, so they're like just
You mean right now?
That's what I thought you said also.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, using their might and their position to basically just extort so many people.
Sorry.
I still don't know if you're talking about the
right
past.
now or the Vikings. Like, not joking.
I know, seriously, it's so good. That's I feel like people should watch fucking Vikings Valhalla and Vikings because like they get the history so well. It's like really historically accurate. Obviously still an entertainment show, so they have creative liberties here and there, but there is like the historical vibe of that show that I think is above a lot of other historical shows. Does it really well. Finished The Boys divisive season, but I thought it was pretty good. I'm glad next season will be the last. That's nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Finally putting a bullet in that, huh?
Yeah, close it off. House of the Dragon is fucking 10 out of 10 every goddamn time. It's
Holy
like the
fuck.
fucking best show.
Dude, like I don't like all I want to do is sing from the rooftops about episode 6. 4th lowest rated episode in Game of Thrones or Hot D history, by the way, which is very telling.
God.
Like, maybe an unintentional Hot D spoilers here, House of the Dragon spoilers, but like, people in my community have been, waiting and hoping since the show started for obvious reasons about certain things. And, it delivered.
Oh yeah.
In a way that I wasn't seeing. I mean, I sniffed it out like an episode ago, maybe, and like earlier in this episode, I was like, it's happening.
Yeah.
And Sophia was like, you are locked in right now. I was like not breaking eye contact with the screen. I was like leaning forward, and we like cheered and stuff. It was
so good.
It was one of the best I've ever seen, maybe.
Yeah, it
like,
was good.
Incredible.
I just don't like one plot line is like super meandering.
Oh, the poisoned hallucinations
fever
over
dream
and over again.
Shit. I'm just like, dude, get on with this.
It's taking forever, yeah.
God. Yeah. But
anyway.
What's today? Is today Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah. And lastly, I watched Prometheus again because my Alien Romulus hype is so
Dude, I'm so jazzed about it.
fucking high. So I rewatched Prometheus.
Did you see that they have
lens.
a practical face hugger, little RC card zipping around? And I was like,
So
okay,
cool.
all right, we're in,
hyped.
dude.
Prometheus just is the most frustrating movie ever made. I'm gonna say it right now. It's the most frustrating movie because it is almost a masterpiece.
Yeah,
it could have
close.
been.
Yeah, it's close.
It's visually like one of the most beautiful movies. The editing is generally pretty good. The performances are good. The writing is just dives.
Lacking.
The characters
it really kills it.
are so
and I was
nonsensical.
torn because when it came out, I wanted to defend it because I felt like people hated it more than it deserved, although it definitely deserved criticism. And I was like, well, it's not that terrible. It's kind of bad, but it's not awful. It's just a little bad. It's just a little bad.
But those little bad things make it so frustrating.
Exactly.
God, just there's the scene where like the little like snake creature comes, and the guy is like, "Oh, look at this beautiful thing," and it literally stands up like a cobra.
It's a cobra.
Snake.
Well,
it's a
also,
fucking cobra snake,
Huber,
and it like does this, and it's like, oh, let me touch it.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But it's even worse.
you.
It's even worse because he's the exobiologist, right? Who earlier in the same fucking sequence saw a corpse of an alien and ran away because he was afraid. But he sees a living creature obviously threat posturing, and he's like, "Oh, come here, little guy." It's like
So
this
frustrating.
literally. I mean, this shows the power of writing in movies because I've rewatched Prometheus several times with an eye for like, can I re-edit this? Because sometimes I re-edit movies to try to fix them, and I've watched Prometheus with an eye to like, can I re-edit this? And like, you can't. Like some of those stuffs I could just take out. Like if you just don't have any mention of what anyone's job is, then it might be okay.
The map guy gets lost.
The map guy gets lost.
What?
The exobiologist is afraid of a corpse, but then approaches a cobra snake. Like none of them make any sense based on their own job. But if you took that out, maybe that would be okay, because there would just be a bunch of dumbasses in space getting fucked. You know, but then like
Frustrating.
there's just like nothing toward the end. You can't really fix just like egregious plot issues.
Yeah. I also forget that, like, dude, Ridley Scott, you need to get off your high horse, because you will always be lesser to the legendary directors out there because of one reason. He doesn't write shit. He doesn't write a fucking thing.
Oh.
To me, Ridley Scott is nothing more than a hired gun on movies.
Also, like
straight
I
up,
used to think he was better than his brother, but Tony Scott's better.
Tony Scott actually had sick, crazy style. Yeah, dude. And like Ridley Scott doesn't even write anything, and he acts like he's the best.
I mean,
fucking
like,
God.
I think that he has time has kind of changed him for the worse, maybe. But like, I was watching shout out Mr. Sunday Movies, my favorite internet boys. They're doing Alien right now, the Alien series for Caravan of Garbage, which is just called that. You know, half the stuff they talk about is good. But I highly recommend watching it. I learned a few amazing things about Alien that I never knew. It shocked me because I thought I knew like pretty much everything. Like the thing I learned was that Lambert is canonically trans, like, and always was.
Whoa!
In the background of Aliens, in the scene where
on the computer screen,
on the screen
that was
her,
awesome. I learned that from like commentary.
I was like, how did I never know
yeah.
that? Like, because I've listened to those commentaries. I guess I
think it had something to do with like a William Gibson draft or something like that. I could be like completely forgetting something, but like I think William Gibson had something to do with that. I could be completely wrong.
He had a version of 3 that he wrote.
Yeah, but yeah, that's cool.
But Ridley Scott like storyboarded the entire first movie. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You know, he's no slouch at directing.
Yeah. I just
you can be a good director without being a writer, is my point.
For sure. But
like he's
there is a fine line with like auteurs and creators.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
To me, writer director is just a whole nother league of
when it goes right, it goes
vision.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Lastly, Cobra Kai, 10 out of 10. Only 5 episodes for now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
me
too.
So quick. I did make it last 4 nights. I watched 1, 1, and then 2. So
same here.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friend Nick Marini. He's actually coming over here in like 2 hours. He's young
sick.
Silver in that show.
Dude, so sick.
I have to say, like, this season wasn't quite the heights of the earlier seasons,
dude.
But it's still worth watching. It's still worth watching. Yeah, absolutely. And all the Valley love, all the Valley jokes, they're still hilarious. Yeah, don't diss the Valley, man. That stuff is hilarious. I know, like, I don't know if that resonates with the rest of the country the way it does for LA residents, but so funny, so amazing.
They have
Din Tai Fung references that I know that like Americana at the brand account. yeah, has to love. Yeah,
Americana brand. I drove by it the other day. There's a really cool Cobra Kai mural on like the side of a building in LA.
So sick. Yeah, the next set of episodes is in November, and it's like the most hyped I've ever been. It's gonna be the best.
Yeah, that show's great, and I love like Johnny. Johnny is the like linchpin of that show. He like really makes that show. He's such an incredible actor, which he really blossomed as like an adult actor. Like, yeah, incredible.
I think through Johnny, like one last thing is just through Johnny, I feel like no show has done it better where it's like commentating on the change of society through this old dude. The way he reacts and handles and learns and grows and changes and just like talks about different generations, I think is just so effective.
Yeah, without like endorsing some of his outdated ideas,
Yes, it just
but
does
without
it so well.
but without reaming him for being outdated also, you know? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really walks a fine line, and it's
Yeah.
so perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of content out there.
So
Yeah.
much content.
So yeah, watched all that shit.
I'll go next. I usually go last. Unless you want to go, Matt.
No, please.
Let's see. I don't remember if I talked about Kinds of Kindness on the last
Oh, I'm
episode.
very
or not.
curious.
think
Very curious.
Did for a second you were like not too hot on it?
I-
Remember.
Yeah, it's funny because I love The Favorite and I love Poor Things, and this one I thought was good, but not his best. It meandered a little, I thought, in some of the stories, but a lot of them are really good. Yeah, I don't know. It like there's a lot there. I didn't hate it. I think it could have just been a little shorter, maybe. It's tough to get a triptych like the pacing of it right,
Trim it down.
Trim it a little, yeah. I also watched The Beast with Leah Seydoux, which I thought was pretty good. I also thought it was kind of meandering. And this is funny, but like one of my favorite movies ever, right? Portrait of a Lady on Fire, one of the best like sapphic
Yes.
romance movies of all time.
Best movies of all time.
One of the best movies of all
Period,
time.
yeah.
But a friend of mine who like is a super art house movie nerd, right? But gay, he said it was boring as sin. And I was like,
The Beast or Portrait of a Lady?
Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And I was like, I
Wow.
wonder if it's because you're gay, so you don't have like any interest in women at all, But then The Beast made me kind of think about that because it's like a straight romance. Generally, she seems like she's maybe a little bi in it, but I was just like, would I have liked this more if I? Because like the whole movie, I read the guy as just kind of scary and weird, which I don't think was what you're supposed to have read him as, except for in one of the parts. Because
can kill a romance for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
If the dude,
yeah.
you're like, no, stay away.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well-
yeah.
Hugo.
And it's really interesting. Yeah, get Hugo out of there. It's really interesting in The Beast because like the kind of 2014, it takes place sort of. It's kind of like Cloud Atlas or something where it's like throughout your past lives, you're like doing all these things. And in the middle one, he actually is like a creepy stalker, like weirdo guy. And so it's like kind of an interesting thing where it's like, it's this great romance throughout different lives, but one of them was like he hated women. 'Cause he's basically an incel, but like he hated all women, but like she would have given him a chance, but he just like didn't allow it to happen because he couldn't see it, And so it's like he is creepy and scary in that one, So it's like I don't know if it just kind of bled over into the other ones for me. Yeah. Huber thinks I hate men, which is not true.
I have never gotten that indication from you.
Well, when you work with Isla, she says under her breath, like, men are trash all the time.
No, I
so
do
that's
not.
why.
And then I always say I'm just afraid of scary men. Not,
Which there are many of.
yeah.
So capital M. And
Yeah. I'm afraid of capital M men, and I love lowercase m men. Half of my friends, some
Shout
of my
out
best
to
friends are,
lowercase n.
yeah, some of my best friends are men. Like you two are a couple
That's
of the
new
good
now.
ones.
That's canon now. Lowercase men.
Lowercase men. Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm talking about men, I'm going to do it lowercase. Unless they're scary.
I watched a movie called November, which is a really wild, kind of folk horror, kind of romance.
Oh yeah, you were texting me about this. I've seen the trailer for this. Yeah.
The music is really awesome. The vibes are through the roof. I think that it was limited by its budget a little bit. And it's like, it's so, which obviously in the next movie I talk about is not always a problem, but like this one was kind of like so abstract that sometimes I was like, okay. And I think probably there are some cultural things that I'm like, okay, I don't know what like folklore you're doing right now, but like the movie just starts with like, I don't remember what they're called, but like you can sell your soul to the devil to get a soul from hell to like animate, like you can make a little puppet out of tools and stuff, and then they'll help you on the farm.
Sounds like
this is true. I've done this.
Yeah. And so the movie just starts with like this thing made out of like a rake, an axe, a hoe, and like a like cow skull, just like spinning through the woods and stealing somebody else's cow.
What?
And it's like that's just how it starts, and you're just like, huh? Like this is sick. It's a cool movie. November is really neat, and the soundtrack.
Was it a Polish movie?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The trailer was very reminiscent of Marketa Lazarova, the like Czech new wave movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I love, but a very intense kind of folk horror.
Yeah. This one was
war movie. Yeah.
It didn't go quite into the horror. It was more like a tragic lovers kind of a thing. But yeah. I saw Godzilla x Kong New Empire. It was okay.
I missed that in the IMAX. Just because, Kaiju IMAX they go together like two peas in a pod.
Yeah. In honor of that, I also recently watched You're Next for the first time and loved that, and rewatched The Guest, one of my favorites.
Ooh, You're Next is good.
Same director on those. Then like I watched Blowout because I like had never seen it. It was good. Like whatever.
Oh, the De Palma one.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Like, I love it. You were kind of mid on it.
I wasn't, obviously, like it's a classic, but like one of my favorite movies is The Conversation. So it's just like,
yeah,
I'm like, okay,
I like it a little bit better than Conversation,
and I like Conversation a little bit better. So it's just like whatever.
Vanilla chocolate.
Yeah. No, nobody's wrong. No, they're both great. My favorite thing that I've watched. Though is I watched this movie After Blue Dirty Paradise.
Yep. I love that movie. I love that movie.
Fucking shit! It is out of control.
Everybody watch the trailer for it at least. Watch the trailer for it. After Blue Dirty Paradise. Yep.
After Blue Dirty Paradise, and
the French movie.
There's a new one by the same guy whose name I don't recall at this exact second. Let me see if I can grab it here.
He did Wild Boys.
Bertrand Mandico. She is Conan is a new one coming out or came out by him, and in watching this movie and looking into it, I learned that he has this thing called the Incomprehensibility Manifesto, wherein he shoots. It's sort of like Dogma 95 or whatever.
It was the last manifesto I've heard since Dogma 95, where they were like, "We're gonna make movies just like this. These are the rules."
Yeah, so it's like he made up these insane rules for how to make a movie, which include things like only shoot on expired film. Do every effect in camera, do all your sound in post. So like everything's ADR'd basically.
Every single one of the rules is just like music to my soul.
Yeah.
Though. They're all my aesthetic. Yeah.
It's like eschew like narrative comprehensibility or screenplays.
Yes.
Like the whole book, which is funny because like after Blue Dirty Paradise, with the exception of one part near the end, I was like following it completely. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. But also it's just like there are only women in the movie. Just constant nudity. Everything looks like a set and it's bright colors and it's just I fucking loved it. It's like so my aesthetic. It's
a planet where like only women exist and they're looking for like Kate Bush, someone named Kate Bush.
There's someone who named kind of herself like a Western. Kate Bush. It's an acid Western, a lesbian acid Western
in outer space. This is going to appeal to a certain stripe of
You're
person.
you're either in or you're out, and you could
Yeah.
probably figure that out almost immediately. Like, you know, but like just the look and feel of it, I was just like, oh my god.
When did it come out?
What?
When did it come out?
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah, like let me see. I could
Right
tell you
before the pandemic.
2021. Yeah, 2021. It honestly reminds me of On Silver Globe a little bit. That one has more of a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to watching She Is Conan because like, goddamn, this be my vibe. Anyways, and Sophia and I started watching New Girl.
Good show.
She just
The
plopped
sitcom?
on. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
She
Yeah,
just
it's really
plopped on
funny.
New Girl, and I was like, "Hey, what? This is actually like tolerable."
Jake Johnson is
He's
great.
great.
In it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
great
so
in it.
likable. Yeah, and Coach, that character Coach, he's funny, and Wilson,
I guess
everybody's
Coach,
good.
Coach like comes back later, right? He was there for the pilot and then disappears inexplicably, and she was telling me that like, yeah, the actor like had other stuff going on, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. That show is a great example, Huber, of men that I like.
Lowercase man. And
Yeah,
New Girl
Lowercase
for
Man.
Sure.
You know.
Big time.
We have a running gag in my house that anytime there's a kiss that isn't between two women, Sophia is always just like, I'm sorry you have to see this, you know? And I'm always like, it's obviously like a joke, but like, you know, when it's a like character like Nick or whatever, I'm always just like, I'm still just like, oh, like, you know, because he's a sweetie.
Get it, Nick.
Adorable in that show.
Yeah, I'm like, get it, Nick. I want you to be happy.
You're so adorable.
Anyways, those are mine. What about you, Matt?
Oh, I forgot to
What?
say, maybe Matthew saw it. Matthew, did you see Longlegs?
Oh, I want to see
No,
this.
I want to because Blackcoat's Daughter is
wanna see that
just one
too.
of my favorite horror movies just ever. It's so sad. I like sad horror.
Same.
Yeah, sad horror is great.
Sick.
And it's the director. I can't remember his name.
Osgood
Perkins.
Yeah. And so I want to see Longlegs. Although I am feeling a little bit of I hate to say it. I know you did an episode before I joined up, Nick Cage fatigue. I hate to admit it. It's because he's so talented and everyone wants to work with him. That's
Yeah.
all. That's the only reason. But you have like a favorite song by your favorite band and then it gets played too much. Like The Clash, Rock the Casbah, they're my favorite band, and then now I don't want to hear it on the radio because it's just like, you know, it's on every oldies station and it's like, okay, I don't need to hear that song anymore.
Matthew, I gotta keep going. I'll save it for later, but Guillermo del Toro has the best tweet ever about Nick Cage. I'll read it to you when I
Okay, yeah, please do. But anyway, I still want to see Longlegs, and it's not Nick Cage's fault that he's talented and everybody wants to work with
Well,
him.
that's
He's
the
in
thing.
like 1 out of every 2 movies now.
Well, that's the thing that's so fascinating to me, and we talked about this in the Nick Cage episode that we did. Go check it out. But he's like such a like you wouldn't guess that he's such like a actor. Like he's such a consummate professional. Like even in the movies that like suck ass and you think he's just like doing to pay off his castle, it's like he did his homework. Like he probably researched how to like play a gambler who can see forward through time or whatever. Like
Yeah. But I am very much looking forward to Longlegs. I can't wait to see
It's
it.
real good.
Did you
Yeah.
so you saw it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I like
That's
want to go
cool.
see it, but I'm also afraid. Same with Cuckoo. I'm like really looking forward to those, but I'm also like, "Ugh, are they too scary for me?
But the movies I saw were scary movies this month. So I saw Quiet Place Day 1. And I say scary movies because it wasn't that scary.
I love those two though. I love Eddie.
The
and I
first
love-
2 were great. The third one, not so great. I mean, it was fun. It was fun, but it wasn't on the level of the first 2. And I made the mistake. I had so much fun of Mad Max Fury Road with the chair that vibrated. I was like, again, sign me up. So I was like, this is going to be fun. Scary monsters with a vibrating chair. But like, that actually kind of took me out of the movie. You can imagine like you're absorbed in the screen and then something shaking your chair brings you back into the like real world, and you want to stay in the screen for like something scary. So my recommendation: scary movie, don't get the shaky chair.
Can you turn them off, or are you trapped in a moving chair?
You can turn it off.
Oh, okay.
And so, Quiet Place Day One, another part of the problem with that is it was kind of mawkish and sentimental. There was a lot of like Steven Spielberg violins, you know,
Oh, wow.
during like scenes where some characters were trying to connect with each other between the monsters stalking and eating people and stuff. And then it was, that kind of kill some of the suspense also. And they're like, you don't need that. I get it. They're buddies, they're friends. You don't need the violins. So it was a little overboard, but still a fun movie. And this is hilarious. Also probably killed some of the scares. Someone was farting in the theater during some quiet parts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty funny. I don't know if it was like as a joke,
Crazy.
or if they couldn't help it, but people in the theater definitely laughed as a result.
Oh my God. That was
Pretty funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was Quiet Place Day One. And then I saw Maxine, which I was not that excited to see because the trailer didn't look that good to me. I loved Pearl. Like I loved Pearl.
I've almost put it on like 4 times, but it seems really depressing.
Pearl is kind of a mix. No, Pearl is kind of joyful. Pearl is a mix. Pearl has, some heavy parts, and it's kind of got some glee to it, like some manic glee. Some kind of it's like a twisted, gleeful movie that's dark.
Okay.
But it's got some like this character is pretty bizarre and like strange, and you're not sure what's wrong with him. They seem like they seem something's up with them, and like they seem like pretty enthusiastic about what they're doing. But so it's dark, but not as heavy as you would think.
Okay.
So Pearl's good. Pearl's great. X, I didn't love. X was I had some problems with.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah, I could see horror.
West is pretty hit or miss.
Yeah, I agree. There are some movies by him I really like.
Yep.
X was just I had some problems with. So Maxine, I was like, I don't know. Setting this in the world of like 80s porn, I was like, this seems like a recipe for disaster. But I want to see it just because I want to finish the trilogy. It was great. It was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. Pick of the month for me, Maxine. Ooh. So, that's just, the trailer did not give a good impression for what the movie actually is. That's just her backstory. And then she goes on to, like, that's the first 10 minutes of the movie. She goes on to do other things. So it's a really cool, fun movie. Very influenced by 70s and 80s Italian giallo movies.
Okay, yeah. The lighting, I was like, it feels like a modern giallo kind of.
Yeah, like Deep Red or Argento or things like that. So very cool. Like a good solid B+. Kevin Bacon's in it, and Kevin Bacon's hilarious.
Love Kevin
Bacon's really funny. He does a great job. Like he really, really, really shows up. Kevin Bacon shows up in this movie.
Let's have a Kevin Bacon-sance.
Yeah, yeah.
Nick Cage, Kevin Bacon.
This is part of it. Yeah, this is part of it for sure. Maxine was good. Absolutely. Yeah, and there's a cool twist. I don't know. I shouldn't talk too much about it, but yeah. It's great. It does some cool things I wasn't expecting to. And like you said, Vikings punching above its weight. Huber, Maxine definitely does above its weight class for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. I recommend Maxine. You kind of need to be in for the you kind of need to be in for the trilogy though, because it's referencing the whole thing, and it ties. It absolutely references the previous movies. So you got to be in for a penny, in for a pound with that one.
So would you recommend to someone like me who's never seen any of them to just watch X, Pearl, and Maxine? Just like go for it.
I thought the whole thing was worth it. I thought the whole thing was worth it. Jessica watch Pearl with me and like Pearl, and then she went back and watched X, which is kind of like a like a prequel. They kind of are all chronological, and she was like, "Oh, fuck X! I don't like X." Blah.
Yeah.
But hearing my good reviews of Maxine, she's like, "I might watch that." So
Okay.
yeah. So I'll leave it up to you. Overall, I'm glad I took the journey. So
Nice.
yeah, and Pearl, who I still super stand by Pearl. Yeah.
Matthew, I have this tweet here from Guillermo. It's actually about Oz Perkins more. He says, it's comforting when a colleague fares well while staying faithful to the rhythms and motifs that have made his career. His meticulous composition and uncanny sense of evil and impending doom.
Yeah,
But then about Guillermo, or about Nick Cage, he says he's our last and best expressionist performer.
Ah.
Really like that.
Yeah.
Accurate in all
He
kinds.
paints on a large canvas.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, I want to watch the
Jackson
Blackfoot's daughter. Yeah, he's the Jackson Pollock of acting for sure.
I watched Hacks, which is the HBO comedy with Gene Smart.
My dad loves that one a lot.
It's great. It's great. I like it. I have a friend who works on it. He does the sound, and shout out to Jim Lakin. And it's really funny. It's older comedian who is trying to make a comeback, and a younger comedian who is in her 20s trying to write for this, sort of abusive boss. This older abusive boss, and what their relationship is like. There's a lot of like inside baseball Hollywood shit, which having worked for a lot of abusive Hollywood bosses, I kind of knew what that was like. It was pretty representative of what it's like to work out in LA. So if you want to a feel for that, watch Hacks. But it's also really funny, and Gene Smart is terrific. Gene Smart from God, what's that sitcom called from the 80s? Working Women? No.
Is she in
Working Women, I think is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
I did not watch it when I was a kid. I was too young for it, but I think it's something like that. But yeah, she's great in it. And then this doesn't really count as a TV show. This is video game stuff. But the world has been stressful over the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of ups and downs. Maybe we're on an up. There were some downs earlier.
Hard to tell anymore.
Yeah, hard to tell. It's been very zigzaggy. This is more on the video game tap, but I watched Evo.
Nice.
And that was very triumphant. That was very triumphant. That was a heart tugger. Punk the God won, and it was on the same day where we had some different kind of election news, and it was just like it was an emotional day. And I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it. He won in a very, very close match, and he'd been trying to win Evo for like 10 years. And then he was crying. He was looking up to the sky. The crowd was chanting, "You deserve this. You deserve this." It was so sweet. He looked so grateful. He was hugging. Him and his competition were hugging each other. It was just like such a sweet moment. Like, it could have been a movie or a TV show. It wasn't scripted, but like, you can't script something that good. So it doesn't count, but like, it was a story for sure.
Everything counts.
Yeah. So I watched Evo. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of GDQ. There was a Kaizo troll levels run that was very, very good. Very funny.
Oh yeah.
It was really good.
Kaizo. Oh, so like Mario Kaizo.
Yeah, so it's Mario Maker Kaizo style levels, but intentionally made as troll levels, and it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, like, they're all kind of like troll a little bit, right? Yeah.
But like, there's like telegraphing in Kaizo that like tells you like, okay, hold a block, release here, jump here, go here, And like, those are all just tricks in these levels. So it's like, and they're reading them for the first time, these levels. So yeah. Sick. All right. Should we get into it?
Yeah.
I asked our patrons at patreon.com/reaction shots, what's your favorite fourth wall break? When does breaking the fourth wall help or hurt a film or show? and then like anything else they wanted to say. We'll just like usual, just kind of go down them, talk about what we think as we
Can I
go.
say my favorite?
Yes.
You're still here?
Yeah.
Go
Oh
home.
yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. Ferris
Ferris
Bueller
Bueller.
has so many good ones.
It's my favorite.
I remember as I was looking up stuff, like, I didn't really need to research too much for this episode, but like Spaceballs, the like, we're now. When will then be now? Soon. Like that whole sequence is so funny. I'm sure we'll talk about it. Oh yeah, the first fucking one. Mel Brooks has got some, like, Blazing Saddles is just like god tier.
God tier.
Kind of pulls a Holy Grail where the end of the movie is just like, yeah, fuck it. Like, it's just like, all right. Tyler Travis says Ferris Bueller is one of my favorites, but Mel Brooks is the master. I swear he does it in every movie he's directed. He probably does. I wonder if there's any that he doesn't.
That's good trivia.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen the Producers or Silent Movie, but every other movie I can think of other ones. Or I can think of some. Like even Young Frankenstein, there are some.
It seems like it's pretty common in comedies.
Yeah.
Like if you think of, we were already talking about Wayne's World, and then Ferris Bueller, and then in Discord people were posting pictures of the Jerk, Steve Martin's The Jerk, and I'm sure it's probably happened in other Steve Martin movies. And you mentioned Monty Python already, right?
I wanted to ask about this too, because I was thinking about The Jerk and I was thinking about Arrested Development, and it's like The Jerk obviously does it actually, but like does narration count? Like by virtue of it being narration to, because like The Jerk starts with "I was born a small black child."
Yeah.
And it's Steve Martin talking. So like immediately you're like, okay. Like,
but then would like all film noirs be?
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. Because like Arrested Development, he'd like, the Ron Howard, I think maybe shows up on screen once, but he says like, when Michael's like, I feel like I'm in some kind of Arrested Development, he's like, hey, that's the name of the show. Like, so the narrator breaks, but he's omniscient. So,
well, I think there's something in the phrase like breaking the fourth wall as opposed to addressing the audience or narrating. Like breaking assumes that there's some kind of format that you're going against.
Yeah.
And I was wondering that because like there's like The Big Lebowski where it's like the narration that you don't see, and then all of a sudden you see Sam Elliott and he's like talking to the camera, and that kind of goes back and forth from like omniscient narrator to, well, the dude is blah 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 blah, here he is at the bar, and that's a quote. That's not the actual quote from the movie, but you probably know you can picture the parts I'm talking about.
Sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes the bear he eats you. But the way he says it is eat the bar, and like my whole life I was like, what? It's like, what do you
Me too. I thought he was talking about the bar, the physical bar that they were at. Yeah.
It took watching it again with subtitles on to realize he's saying sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes the bear he eats you.
Yeah.
It's funny, our next comment, JG says the end of Big Lebowski when Sam Elliott starts talking to the audience is my favorite. When I saw that movie in a packed theater for the first time instead of at home, that scene was so much more powerful. Like he had an actual audience to talk to. It's a really cool experience. Yeah, that's always funny. Like that makes me think about Scrooged at the end when he's talking to the audience, like, and he's talking into the camera and he's just like, okay, now just this side of the theater. No, just this side. Like, because they're singing.
I don't
along.
remember that part of Scrooge.
It's during the credits. It's at the very end credits. He's
so
like,
cool.
They're all singing like that. I can't remember which holiday song it is, but he's like, okay, now just the fellas.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely that. He's like, okay, women, come on now. Like he's like talking literally to but like a theater, which is kind of funny.
Okay,
and it's like still in the,
It's cool.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that stuff is interesting too, because it's like Fargo season 3 has it's who's Leland from Twin Peaks?
Wise.
Ray Wise. Yeah, Ray Wise.
Ray Wise.
He's in season 3 of Fargo, and like his character.
Really?
Yeah,
is
it was
that like
amazing.
a regular character?
Yeah, kind of. He
well, I gotta watch it then.
Dude,
Fargo's so
Fargo,
good.
I recently watched season 3, which I
Incredible.
had like skipped for some reason. Fargo rips, dude. That show is incredible.
Fargo's
I saw
almost
1, 2,
perfect.
and the last one. Yeah, and that's
1, 2, and
it.
5 are my favorites. I would probably say 1, 5, 2, 3 is my like. Yeah, 3 is really good.
Three's really good.
3 is really good. They're all so good. But yeah, Ray Wise plays a character that there's a definite homage to Sam Elliott in Big Lebowski. I'll just say that.
I ran into Ray Wise at the freezer section of a grocery store. I won't say
way.
which one to give him privacy, but I was like, sorry, I have to say hello to you. I'm so sorry. This is so rude. I'll let you go on with your life, but I love you. You're my favorite part of my favorite TV show. And then he was like, he said a really strange thing to me. He said, "You seem like a wise man," like some kind of joke. And he did like some like little thing like from Twin Peaks. I was like, "Oh, he's being so nice. He's being so nice to me." It was really nice. Yeah.
I saw Michael McKean. Right? He's the one, not the one from. He's the one who didn't turn out bad. He's the. Oh yeah, not the guy from Stay Tuned who turned out to be bad news, but Michael McKean. I saw Michael McKean coming out of a pharmacy near where I live, and I like was gonna say like, "Oh my god, I love you" in Clue and like all the Christopher Guest stuff, but it seemed like he wasn't having a great day, so I was just like,
it could have cheered him up.
I mean, maybe.
Oh,
You
that's
never
just
know.
hit and run
You
when
kind
I
of want to
see a
give those
celeb.
people their lives, but I was like, will I regret not talking to Ray Wise? And it was a great moment. Yeah.
Living in LA, like, you know, you see enough people that like eventually you kind of are just like, okay, hey,
Run into
wow.
everybody.
Yeah.
You got to do the hit and run. It's the go-to move. It's like, hey, big fan.
Yeah.
As you're like,
You keep it
continually
short.
walking
You
away.
keep it short. Yeah, and then you move on. You give them the chance.
Don't
Drive
stop
by.
walking. Yeah. You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Go, you just go, hey, love
Exactly.
your
That's
stuff.
it.
Like,
That
love
is
your
the
stuff.
move.
Yeah. Love your stuff. But like the what you don't do is if you're in like, because I saw like I was at a restaurant eating and Carrie Ann Moss was in the next table.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was just like, all right,
No.
I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's fucking Trinity right there. That's fucking Trinity right there, dude. It's like, whoa. Tim Meadows was across the aisle in a plane from me one time, and he was reading a screenplay, and I kept being like, what's he reading? Like, I think it might have been Anchorman, given the timing, but
Crazy.
anyway, that was years ago. Paul Rogers says the movie that first came to mind and definitely is a favorite is Fight Club. The film frequently draws attention to itself, perhaps most notably when the film finally catches up to the opening sequence timeline. And Ed Norton responds, "No, still can't think of anything." I love stuff like that, where like a line will just change subjectively like that, because it's like, no, I still can't think of anything. Fight Club's an interesting one too, because like it breaks the fourth wall as a film. Like most of the examples that we're going to talk about and that are easier to think of are characters within a film, like looking at the camera or saying something to the audience, right? But like Fight Club and a few other examples that maybe we'll get into, the film itself breaks the fourth wall. Like Fight Club has editing gags in it, and like you can see the cigarette burn in the corner, after Tyler Durden explains that to you as the audience, like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I remember everyone's screen name in Counter-Strike in the early 2000s was XXX Tyler Durden XXX.
One of my favorite, I mean, like, it'd be too dangerous to do an episode like this, but like, top 10 movies misinterpreted by their fan bases. It's like, Fight Club. It's like, no, guy, it's against you. Matt Rock Records says, spoilers for She-Hulk? ? Does anyone even care? ? I enjoyed it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I've been pretty checked out on... It's been a while. I've been pretty checked out on Marvel for a while, but I've still been watching everything as my on-the-background shows. And I actually like how She-Hulk ended. They set it up to be a ridiculous big-budget purple laser fight that we're all tired of, but pull the rug out from under it and have Jennifer literally break the fourth wall that is Disney Plus website UI and travel through it to the Marvel Studios to confront Kevin Feige and present him with the case in courtroom fashion that a big fight doesn't make sense for an ending for the show about a lawyer. It wasn't perfect, but it was cute and different, and I feel like that's the most we can ask for these days. Sure. And we talked about Maxine, which is what they wanted to know about. Is there anything else? Yeah, I actually really liked that ending because, like, when that was coming up and, like, the ending, I was like, this isn't her show anymore. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, the last 2 episodes, you're just like, this is spiraling out. But then, like, she is like, this is spiraling out. Like, yeah. It's like they've hijacked my show. Like, which, you know, some people were mad about, but it's like, do you not know what She-Hulk is? She's literally done that in the comics. Like, she's like torn the pages of her own comic and be like, this is about me. Like, this isn't about this guy. Uzi Suicide says, gotta go with the jerk. It's hard to nail fourth wall breaks, but this movie gets everything right. Steve Martin telling the audience his story and is seemingly the only one not in on the joke. I was just telling these guys.
What movie are they watching the jerk in like a movie theater? What am I thinking of?
Freaks and Geeks?
It could be Freaks and Geeks. The show, right? Freaks and Geeks?
Freaks and Geeks, they definitely watched The Jerk and Freaks and Geeks.
Okay,
and,
I think that was probably
he like takes his girlfriend on a date and she doesn't like it. And he's like, oh no, she doesn't get it.
That was 100 billion% it. Thank you, Matthew.
He's like, oh no.
Deep cut. My God, well done.
Dude, she doesn't get, what am I going to do? She doesn't get the jerk. I guess I got to break up with her.
I remember. It's all coming back to me now.
You do. If your girlfriend doesn't get the jerk, what are you going to do? That's it. It's over. It's Dunsville.
That is such.
How can you
so
connect
real.
on any level?
That's so real. Like, I used to take dates to this place in LA called the Museum of Jurassic Technology.
Oh yeah,
just as like a test, just to be like, can you hang with this? Because
cold open. At
yeah.
Let's go.
It's like second date. You know, first date is like, okay, let's talk, but second date is like, all right.
Listeners,
I'm into this.
Let's also not spoil that place. But listeners, if you haven't visited LA yet, or if you are going to come again, go to the Museum of Jurassic Technology. It's an excellent museum.
Yeah.
In Culver City.
Don't look into it. Just go there.
Yeah, don't just go there. Make sure the hours are open.
Too much information. Yeah. Costs like $10. No sweat.
$10.
Garrett Hallfish says, I especially love when breaking the fourth wall is turned on its head a bit. 2 great examples come to mind. In Fleabag, she's been talking to the camera throughout the series. Oh my God, I fucking love Fleabag. Later in the series, she meets one guy who catches her every time she does it and asks her what she's doing. It catches the viewer...
Priest.
It catches the viewer off guard and makes you wonder what's happening. In Dora and the Lost City of Gold, Dora talks to the camera as a young girl in reference to the original cartoon. This plays to comedic effect as her parents show concern for their child talking to no one. Side note, Dora's director also did Flight of the Conchords and the Muppets. Oh, fun. If you like that humor, please watch Dora. I didn't know that. Yeah, the season 2 of Fleabag, when he calls her on it,
he's like, where'd you just go right there?
Yeah, he's
Where
like,
did you go?
You just did it. Where'd you just go right there? You know? I swear to God, there's one shot where he, after, like, when she glances at the camera, he does too. Like, what did you just look at? But he, like, sees us, I think, for just a second. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Fleabag is a perfect television show.
Phoebe Waller-Bridges, I mean, she's such a great actor, and I really don't think anyone else could have pulled off Fleabag the way she did. And it's cool because it's not a mockumentary. She does so many glances to the camera, and I hate to say this because good shows do this, but it annoys me when they do this. Like, there are so many shows now, like Abbott Elementary or Parks and Recreation did this. Very funny shows, but when they do a joke, they're like, I just told you a joke.
Yeah.
Did you hear the joke I did? It's like the modern day laugh track is mugging to the camera in a mockumentary style. Like, did you hear the joke I just told? And that is not, I don't think mockumentaries count as breaking the fourth wall.
I was gonna say
because that's
no.
the shell.
Yeah.
The shell is we're telling you a documentary, and we're going to be addressing the camera. Fleabag is not a mockumentary. Fleabag is a narrative kind of. I don't know what it is. It's a third person. No, it's a first person. It's a first person narrative.
omniscient.
Yeah. And she kind of mugs to the camera a little bit. She gives us these looks like, this is my life. What the fuck is happening in my life? But she's such a better actor than so many of the people in Parks and Recreation or Abbott Elementary. And I love those shows. I do love those shows. I watch those other shows and I love them. But like, she is just on another level that I don't think hardly anyone else can pull off.
What's so brilliant about, because yeah, like The Office, Parks and Rec, like the cameras are literally there. Like it's literally a documentary within the fiction, right? Fleabag is so genius because like it makes the viewer complicit. Like we're her inner monologue, kind of. We're her crutch, sort of. Like I don't know. It's a beautiful fucking television show. I'm excited to hear what you think of it, viewers.
Yeah, there's less of a layer. Yeah, right? The camera in those other shows and mockumentaries is a layer, and then later we're watching the tapes that got delivered to us through time. So there's more of a barrier between us and what happened. Fleabag, it's right there. Right. I'm going on too long about Fleabag.
No,
but
Fleabag is one of the best shows ever made. Also Patriot. Amazon Prime is the Patriot. Yeah. A fucking amazing show.
Not with Mel Gibson.
Not Mel Gibson. No. The other one. The show. Bad title. Jason Wojnar says, what's your favorite fourth wall break? Maybe not my favorite, but I like how the highly underrated but still highly flawed Three Stooges movies ends with the post-credit scenes where models Justin Lopez and Antonio Sabato Jr. introduced themselves as the Farrelly brothers who directed the movie to explain that all the stunts and physical gags were faked and done by professionals. I never saw that, but that's really funny. Having fake people claim to be the directors, that's really good. In response to when does breaking the fourth wall help or hurt? That time in the opening of On Her Majesty's Secret Service when George Lazenby looks at the camera and goes, this didn't happen to the other fella. Like that movie is so big and epic, and while it still has its tongue-in-cheek moments, that one is just pure cringe. Oh, they don't like that one.
You're cringe.
I think it was funny because, like, I can't remember the order of Bond actors. Was he the first switch out, or was that not him? Because, like, I could see them having an impulse to acknowledge that it's a new actor.
Yeah. Roger Moore wasn't second?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Jason Wojnar also says in the anything else category, last month Walden mentioned he likes static camera shots, so I recommend that he checks out the movies Atlantis and Reflection from director Valentin Vasyanovich. Both are full-length features that each are comprised of probably only 30 separate shots. The former I talked about already, but Reflection is about a Ukrainian soldier in 2014 being captured by Russians and pro-Russian forces in the east of Ukraine and going through captivity, torture, and following him putting his life together after being released. Not a spoiler, that's what the movie is about. I forget how often the camera moves in Atlantis, but in Reflection, it only moves about 3 times, along with some subtle zooms. I saw a Reflection at a Q&A in Kyiv with the director, and I had a chance to ask him how he made sure he didn't overdo it with the torture scenes, which were very intense and were all done in one shot with no hidden cuts. They are also close to home for many people in Ukraine who would watch it. His answer was basically just that he didn't worry about it and just made sure he showed what he needed to show to tell the story. Yeah, that sounds wild.
Yeah.
Ooh, Oneers would be a good theme for an episode.
Yeah, there we go. Well, cool recommendations.
Yeah, that sounds
I'll definitely
wild.
need to watch them.
I was watching a video the other day about a movie called It Happened One Night or whatever. No. shoot, I forgot what it's called, but like the whole last hour of the movie is one take, and it's crazy. It's in like a prison. It's like, I don't know, it's nuts. They're like suspended over on wires for some point. It hands off to a drone. It's like 3 different camera operators. It's bananas. It sounds amazing. I wish I could remember what it was called right now. Cold Smith, I'd say Ferris Bueller is at the top. But
Yeah.
IMO, the best ones are the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Holy shit, that movie just rocks. Yeah, I like that movie. After that, I really like the ones in Wayne's World because they're so damn blatant. He just talks to you like you're there with him. Mel Brooks is great too at it. And some of the weird ones in Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny, are really well done.
I like when in Wayne's World when he pisses you off. Like you walk away.
Yeah.
He's like, "Come on back." Oh, I didn't mean to dump on you. Do you know that part?
Yeah,
Where
The camera,
it's
yeah.
an interesting conceit that I don't think I've seen before. He's like, "This bad thing's happening to me. This bad thing's happening to me." Blah blah.
Yeah, and the
where
audience
you
just gets
going?
bored.
Come back.
Yeah.
Come back. Come back.
Like, I don't care, man. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Shout out to an editing fourth wall break that I've talked about before, but Scary Movie 3, when she gets jump scared by the audio coming in from the next scene, so good. The foghorn. Oh my God. It's so funny to me.
Love those scary movies.
Beto's Burrito says, not a movie, but the Colonel in MGS2 talking or telling me to turn off my game freaked me out so much as a little teen. I
yeah.
turned off my PS2 without saving and went outside.
Dude, yeah.
MGS2 has some god tier
Terrifying.
fourth wall breaks.
Super scary.
I remember like toward the end when the radar just becomes like a literal FMV video of like a girl in a bikini, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? You're just like, okay, like what? About helping or hurting a show or film. If the character's alone and breaking the wall, I'm not that bothered. We become the character's secret confidant, and that feels kind of fun. But when there are other characters in the scene and they're breaking mid-conversation, it's really off-putting and immersion breaking. Like the other character is being actively rude and ignoring the other characters to talk to us. Fleabag and early Sex in the City drove me up a wall with these kinds of breaks.
This is
They
some
call him on-
anti-Fleabag.
Yeah, no, but they call her on it in the show. Get to season 2. Oh my God, my hair is caught in my headphones. No, I mean, yeah, that is. There are definitely times where it's done well and done poorly and stuff. Where it's like, yeah, sometimes it's like, if a character is like turning to the camera and like talking to us for like a soliloquy, you know, or whatever,
Yeah.
and everyone else is just like standing there. It's like, did time freeze? Like, what's happening? I guess Zach Morris would literally freeze time to talk to the audience. He would be like,
Shut
time
up,
out.
dude. Zach
Oh,
Morris.
wow, that's a good call. Yeah.
Zach Morris.
Zach Morris.
I mean, a
dude.
lot of these probably have their origins going back for centuries. Like,
I mean, yeah, the soliloquy,
sure,
like
yeah.
Shakespeare, yeah, like talking to the audience. And I mean, I guess that, yeah, that is kind of part of that format is like the soliloquy is like, I mean, I guess often in those like, characters just kind of pause or they literally leave the stage depending on the length of it. Duff says, so cheating here, but related to the Deadpool movie, so bear with me. Right when that first Deadpool and Wolverine trailer came out, this comic started called Immortal Thor. The series follows Thor and other Asgardians as they deal with Roxxon, an evil conglomerate buying the in-universe Marvel Comics. Since the 60s, Marvel Comics has had this gag that the comics we were reading were actually adaptations of real people's lives. Yeah, they kind of talk about that in Logan, actually. Long story short, Roxxon is able to alter the lives of Thor and his friends because they're already metaphysical avatars of Norse gods. Thor is being replaced by a more corporate-friendly, quippy version of himself that looks like Chris Hemsworth, and the Roxxon CEO breaks the fourth wall to say to the audience, I wanted to rotate into this experience for just a moment to speak with you directly. The comic is self-parody, of course, but parody in an effective Parody is an effective weapon in these times. A brand that takes itself too seriously is mocked. A brand that mocks itself has free reign, a free pass into every consumer's head. Screenshot these cheesy advertisements, turn them into memes, make them viral. A disease that nests inside you, make them harmless. We can laugh together, can't we? We're such good friends. How could you do without us? We are allowed to play, to be in on our own joke, because in the end, the joke is on you. The joke is on you, and we'll tell it until it eats you alive. Whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this just kind of tore the rose-colored glasses away for a moment. As fun and transgressive as Deadpool feels, he's still a corporate-approved mascot that is selling a product for an entity that doesn't care about its audience. It only feels like a joke between friends because it's coming from a mouthpiece that got the go-ahead that it was okay to make fun of these things. Even the page I'm referencing itself is corporate-approved, otherwise it wouldn't see the light of day. That's not to say we can't enjoy these things, but it helps to recognize where they come from. That comic run sounds kind of interesting to me, like that they're doing the thing and then acknowledging doing the thing and then calling themselves out for doing the thing, but then also still weaponizing it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Snow Crash with like the concept of thought viruses, because like that's what a meme is, you know? And if you can weaponize a meme, you can own the story.
I learned today that attention spans in the 2000s were 12 seconds. Now they're less than 8.
I hear that. Yeah, for real. Dude, like we've talked about this 1,000 times, but like I am really fascinated to see like studies down the line of humanity at like how much the internet kind of changed us as a species, and like phones especially, like constant internet access.
Yep.
And like it's only going to get more and more and more pronounced, you know, especially if we get like chips in our head and stuff. Like,
chips in our heads.
We're all cyborgs. It was wild. Here we go. Zachy baby, little Zachy Woj. Zach Wojnar says Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, of course.
Zach Morris.
Shout out to the short-lived Peacock revival of the show, which is basically Saved by the Bell meets 30 Rock. It's a tasty treat for fans of the old show. It even has a joke where Zach explains that he went to middle school in Indiana, the premise of Good Morning Miss Bliss, which was canceled and retooled into Saved by the Bell, before suddenly waking up in California with no explanation.
That's very funny.
Also give some love to Smokey and the Bandit, which features Burt Reynolds outmaneuvering the cops before giving a self-satisfied smile directly to the camera. That's a gosh darn movie star right there. Yeehaw. Finally, there's the episode of Johnny Bravo where he meets Farrah Fawcett and she says, I can't remember the last time I was blindfolded. Oh wait, yes I can. Then realizing it's a kid's cartoon, she says, oops. Hot. Super Sushi says, my favorite is Fleabag. I love how she, throughout the show, confides in the viewer. It's also the best example of a show using fourth wall break that comes to my mind. Worst one would be Wanted. Ooh, here, dude. Fuck Wanted.
Oh, yeah, that's your number one hated, right?
I really hate Wanted.
The fuck have you done lately?
The movie ends with him saying, what the fuck have you done lately to the audience? And I'm like, I watched your fucking movie. You asshole. Like, your shitty trash movie. Oh, it's so bad.
Ended that guy's career. He never did
really
shit afterwards. Yeah. Isn't that a Bekmambetov movie or whatever?
I don't know.
Do you like Night Watch and shit?
Oh yeah. Like, obviously, I don't celebrate anything ending someone's career because that's a bummer. But like, I think that you deserve ridicule if you are cocky and making fun of the viewer while being bad. Like, you can't do that. Like,
actually, Ben-Hur ended his career.
A remake of Ben-Hur?
It came out in 2016 and was a complete bomb.
Yeah, because who wants a remake of Ben-fucking-Hur?
Yeah.
There was plenty of Ben-Hur to go around already.
Yeah, we have Ben-Hur
7 hours long.
Yeah, we have Ben-Hur at home. Katie Garza, one of my guilty pleasure movies that does a fourth wall break is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Wow. It's so
Nice.
dumb, but it reminds me of being a young, silly girl, and as much as I know it's a bad movie, it has a special place in my heart. Dude, I was really into the View Askew universe myself as a
Hell yeah.
teen. Really into that and Clerks and Mallrats and shit. The Clerks TV show, the cartoon, was so funny
Never
and
saw that.
self-referential. It was funny. Like my friend group and I, like, because we watched it a lot. That show breaks the fourth wall like crazy. But the like toward the end of the run, like the show constantly kept making fun of itself and like saying how they were running out of money. But there was one episode where they say they ran out of money, so they had to switch to a new like overseas animation house, and then the show completely switches styles to be like
That's very funny.
Korean or Japanese, or I don't know where they said the animation house was, but like it completely changes styles to more like a chibi kind of like style, and like they're driving a car and like the animation is like every couple of frames, and then all the characters are in the back of the van, and they're always like they're like, wait, who's driving? And then it cuts to a bear driving the van, and then it just goes, bear's driving? How can that be? So my friends say that all the time, and I from high school. Anyway, who's driving? Anything else? Have you watched Kinds of Kindness? If so, I'd love to hear what you think of it. We talked about that too. I thought it was good, but a little slow. Could watch at home. Don't rush out to the movie teatro. But good, obviously. Like he ain't doing anything wrong in my book, you know. Javro Raff says, perfect timing for this question. I saw the TV Glow last weekend. Ooh, let's get into this. I saw the TV Glow last week, and I really enjoyed the limited use of fourth wall break in that movie. A Letterboxd review called it Donnie Darko for they thems. And I couldn't agree more. I would love to hear what your thoughts if and when you see it. Also, Emperor's New Groove. Young me thought that was so cool. Dude, Emperor's New Groove rips. I love Emperor's
Yeah.
New Groove.
I need to rewatch that too.
I saw the TV Glow. Yeah, really, really loved that movie. Big, like, if you're in the trans or queer community, there's a lot to unpack in that movie. I don't know how much I want to say because I don't really want to spoil it, but like it nails dysphoria, and it nails the discomfort and like oppression of the wrongness of being wrong. Yeah, it's a good movie. And it was interesting because I saw it with two gay guys, and they were like, "Oh my god, that was like so like intense and crushing," and I was just like, "Oh, funny." Like it just felt kind of familiar to me, which is interesting. Which maybe
That's
we
how
talk
The
about
Shining was for me. Yeah,
really?
for a long time I was like, this movie isn't scary, and then I got older and realized, oh no, this movie actually should be horrifying. As you get older and realize, no, 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 that's a horrifying situation to be in. It actually is really a scary movie. Yeah.
Fede Krauch says FedEx Fede Krauch says, I'm trying to remember the pneumatic they gave us before. As a mnemonic, what is it? Yeah, whatever. As a massive Star Wars fan, my favorite fourth wall break comes obviously from Spaceballs when Dark Helmet decides to watch the Spaceballs VHS and fast forward to figure out where the rebels have fled to. It's so good. Honorary mention goes to Mr. Robot's season 1 finale, where while it technically may not count as a fourth wall break since Mr. Robot talks to Elliot, it's clear he's talking to society in general. When is it good, bad? Well, first of all, yeah, Spaceballs is so, I don't know. Like, I'm sure, like, a lot of it doesn't hold up as much as it did when I was a teen, but like that part's an all-timer. I love that. It's so good. And all the merchandise, like Spaceballs, toilet paper, Spaceballs. It's just like throughout the entire movie. It's so good. When is it good or bad? It's good in two situations. A, when it's organic and supports the themes of the film, or B, when it's funny. It's bad when it's patronizing and looks down on the audience. Wanted. Something else. I have two something else's this week. First, I'm bringing a segment here that some of you miss in the Easy A podcast. Corrections. Oh, good. Great. For this month, Netflix doesn't release viewing numbers only when it's convenient. They release weekly viewing numbers for the top 10 most watched shows. Yeah. Most watched movies and shows on their website, and you can compile those numbers to figure out which are the most watched movies and TV shows in Netflix history, which is what they do. To clarify, I don't like Netflix's business practices, but you can't argue with the numbers. There's no way to know if those numbers are true, is the thing, is my point. Like, I remember we were talking
such an unnecessary risk, though, to lie about that. Like, if you get caught,
you
look like a fucking dumbass. And it's like, to what end are you just, like, boosting your numbers?
I mean, you throw in a little legalese, like, these numbers are estimates, blah, 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 or something, and you're covered forever.
A little fine print somewhere.
Yeah. The Paramount decrees were terminated in August 2020. Oh, so Sony buying Alamo Drafthouse is perfectly legal now. That's interesting. I didn't know that like had an official end. That's wild.
What's a weekend?
What is a weekend? Second, something else. I'll just get this off my chest. The Acolyte is the most aggressive 7 out of 10 Disney Plus show maybe ever, and the only reason it gets torn apart is because it's part of Star Wars. With that, I leave. Love and respect. It's funny. Sophia's just shown me like snippets of that show. It seems pretty blah.
It's super blah.
Meh.
No.
Yeah.
Highs and lows.
Highs and lows.
Some real low lows, though. Like legendary lows. The
Power
lowest of the
one.
low.
Yeah. Cotolito says, I really enjoy the subtle fourth wall breaking in the 3 endings of Neon Genesis Evangelion. They all go a step further, not only addressing the audience, but forcing them to look at themselves and their relationship to the work in front of them. And it gets more interesting by the fact that each wall break reflects Hideaki Anno's state of mind at the time of creation, ranging from depression to hate to hope. Shinji choking out... Okay, wait, we're getting spoilery here.
Yeah. I haven't read this comment, but you can get probably pretty spoilery, I imagine.
I'll skip the next sentence because it seems kind of spoilery. But it also gets really good comedic fourth wall breaks. Some of my all-time favorites are the check the tape scene in Spaceballs and the ending of Monty Python's Holy Grail. Hell yeah. Anime of the month is Hideaki Anno's directorial debut, Gunbuster, from 1988. It is also a show about teens in giant mechs fighting space monsters, but with a lot more gusto and panache than Evangelion. Cool. And just to give you an idea of what type of fun anime bullshit this is, the first proper scene of the show features giant mechs doing push-ups and crunches. The mechs also ride rockets in light speed as if they were motorcycles. It's pre-Depression Anno with almost the same level of production quality as Evangelion and comes highly recommended. Love and respect. Well, it sounds crazy. 3 more here. Carl Williams, don't really have an overall favorite fourth wall break, but I must say they really do come in handy in movies that involve business practices / Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street, Leo DiCaprio's character talking to the camera at various points while narrating his rise in the 90s business world by ripping people off with dubious stocks and investing his own money into shares of stock he was selling to others. Trading Places, one of the Duke brothers explaining to Eddie Murphy's character about their essential business practices and Eddie just staring into the camera for seconds. The Big Short, Ryan Gosling talking to the camera at various points. I love The Big Short. Various points of the movie detailing the collapse of the housing market back in the late 2000s with the help of various celeb cameos to explain certain business and stock terms. Yeah, that part was really funny. The stuff may fly over your head, but you're definitely paying attention if it's being explained to you by Margot Robbie taking a bubble bath and drinking champagne. It's true. Obviously doesn't have a fourth wall break that I recall, but just shout out to Spotlight also. That's a good movie that starts with S.
Oh, yeah.
Tokyo Slim Quote, this never happened to the other fella. George Lazenby as James Bond breaking the fourth wall in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The only time in the canon Bond series that it's referenced that Bond is multiple people. Yeah. So we have one who hates it and one who loves it.
Crazy.
There's sort of a... What?
My neighbor had like all of the Bond movies on VHS, but this was like 20 years ago, so it was like...
Was it that collection that had the like picture that goes over the whole back of it?
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
So I remember just watching so many of those all the time, but I just like, as a kid, you know, you watch them so many, they start to blend and you forget them and stuff. I just have such a bad reference for like, Lazenby and Roger Moore, and
I don't think
it's like Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery and obviously Daniel Craig are just like so ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, pre-Brosnan, I don't think I had seen a full one from back to back until I saw one in college when we were in Nassau and watched whichever one takes place in the Bahamas with Connery. But like, I'd seen like, obviously the cultural zeitgeist and like just on TV randomly, I've seen like chunks of probably most of them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting way to... So yeah, they're all just one movie in my mind. Pre-Brosnan.
Can't wait till we see what's next for that franchise. It's not going to be down for long, you know.
Yeah, I think didn't they? I can't remember. I can never tell if things are rumors or real, if they've like casted the new Bond or not.
Yeah,
I love Daniel Craig's Bond. Like,
yeah, so great. What a run. Great run. Great run.
Yeah. The like sort of reflexive nature of his portrayal of Bond is so good because it's like he knows Bond's a piece of shit. And like
great.
He's talked about it.
Yeah, he's talked about
in interviews. Yeah.
But like even his Bond is like broken for reasons that exist within his run, and like, yeah. Oh, I really like it. There's a sensitivity and a sort of sadness to his Bond that I really like.
So great.
All right, last one. Zorgla. 30 Rock is my favorite sitcom and frequently breaks the fourth wall for comedic effect. A great example is Liz asking Kenneth if their employer, NBC, plans to do anything for Green Week other than put that stupid green peacock in the corner of the screen. Kenneth responds by glancing down at the corner of the screen, which of course has a conspicuous green NBC logo. There's many more examples of the characters winking at the camera or addressing viewers directly, but it's a huge part of why I love that show so much. Movie-wise, Fight Club handles fourth wall breaks very well, even if the movie is a little eye-rolling in 2024. And Austin Powers deserves a shout-out for its meta and fourth wall gags, too.
Pretty.
Hell yeah. 30 Rock does it in a fun way, because, like, they're in sort of a fictionalized version of themselves, which is kind of fun. I like all the, like, running Lorne Michaels gags that show up in, like, every SNL movie and every SNL thing, and, like, he just, I don't know, like Dr. Evil is an impression of Lorne Michaels in
It's
Austin
so
Powers.
weird that like that was around for, at least for me, for however long, like a decade and a half before I even knew that that's what that was.
Yeah. Because I mean, when that came out, we were young enough that we were just like, oh, Dr. Evil's great, you know, and it's like, no, that is Mike Myers doing and loving Lorne Michaels' impression.
Yeah, and I'm sure he had to have known Lorne Michaels because, like, he probably helped like produce those movies. Yeah,
he was honest too. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised these didn't come up, but these are very quick ones.
I have a couple that didn't come up.
Yeah, for me, for like classic world cinema, Anna Karina, who frequently shows up in Jean-Luc Godard movies, like. He always breaks the fourth wall because he's just like pretentious and experimental. And sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. But Anna Karina is always a delight. She is incredible. She inspired Uma Thurman's character in Pulp Fiction. And she is just so charming and such a great actor. And she's always breaking the fourth wall with Jean-Luc Godard. I don't want to spoil the moments. Just watch some of those movies. My Life to Live, Perot is one of them. And what's another good one? Woman is a Woman. All of those are very fun ones by her. Another one is Fellini and his wife, Giulietta Messina, Knights of Cabiria. Oh, one of the best films you'll ever see, one of the best performances you'll ever see. a very, very subtle breaking of the fourth wall, but a definite breaking of the fourth wall that I'm sure influenced performances for generations to come. And she does it in some of the other movies with Fellini also. So those are two of my favorites. Yeah.
Sick. The one I won't go into specifics, but I guess I mentioned it in the prompt, but like Funny Games is like
Oh yeah,
pretty
yeah,
god tier fourth wall break. Like
yeah.
it's so crushing. You're just like, oh man, like oh no. Yeah, and that's a weird
Good
one
movie.
too.
Weird movie, good movie.
Weird movie, good movie. You gotta watch Cachet, Huber.
I know.
I still haven't seen that one.
You haven't
I've
seen
seen a
neither
lot of
of you.
Haneke, but yeah.
Cachet is
It's
one of my
always like
faves.
be in such a particular. Well, I have to be in such a particular mood to watch a Haneke, and I usually like them. But like I have to carve away 3 days to watch a
Yeah.
Haneke movie.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
to
yeah.
watch it, and 2 to recover.
Yeah. Cachet is bleak, I guess, but it's not. It won't ruin your day. Well,
A friend told me it's his favorite, and that's
It's
his
my
best
favorite.
one. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite movies, like ever.
It's on Amazon for $3.59. I'm gonna rent it.
A steal, dude. A steal.
Gonna rent it.
Yeah,
The worst is when you want to pay for something to watch
and you can't.
and you just can't. When like you give them, you
Yeah.
don't want my money. All right, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not watching.
I
This.
want to give you my money, and
I really wanted to rewatch A Bittersweet Life. It's
I don't know that
gangster
one.
movie.
Oh.
Super good. It's not available anywhere.
Shoot.
The pitfalls of streaming sometimes.
Yeah.
Ah,
gotta hoard it. I have a cabinet out in our garage. I call it the anime cabinet because it's filled with anime, but
Yeah.
it also has like classic Blu-rays, like Criterion Blu-rays, half anime, half
Gold.
half classic movies. But it's the anime cabinet, is what we've coined it.
I told the story about remembering that I already owned The Prisoner on Blu-ray a couple of episodes ago, but like, yeah, rediscovering my Blu-ray folders, I was like, oh shoot, like I have some pretty good movies in here. Like,
Be watching you.
I have good taste. Yeah, be seeing you. There is that Leo Vader did a really good Prisoner retrospective video on YouTube, and I watched it and I loved it. Check it out. And then watch the damn Prisoner because it's amazing. Not the AMC one, the real one. All right.
I don't know if that breaks the fourth wall, but it gets pretty meta. Yeah,
I mean, it's
pretty
incredibly.
meta.
Yeah, I don't know if it sort of like is the fourth wall. Like, yeah, it's super meta, that show. Like, yeah, we'll say it counts.
It knocks on it gets pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. It tiptoes up to it.
Well, what it does is it moves the fourth wall. Like you think it's broken, and then you're like, oh no, the fourth wall just moved. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, like the fourth wall's behind me now. Like that's the Prisoner. Like honestly, for real. Awesome. Well, thank you both. Thank you, viewers and listeners. Go to patreon.com/reactionchats if you would like to be in on the conversation and get in on our Discord. We have one price. It's $3. Chuck us a buck. There are 3 of us. 3 of you. Dollars. 3 of your dollars.
the power of 3.
The power of 3. The power of 3. For less than a half of a cup of coffee, you can be on our Discord and post in our Patreon, and we'll love you for it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone who wrote in, and we look forward to next time. Once again, I will be out of town for August, so we will be a little late, and our episode will come in, near the front of September, because I'll have to get back in the country before we, record it. And I'll probably be fairly tired when I get back, but we'll see. Check it out. Oh, and we were thinking maybe the Easy Allies Discord does a top 10s thing. And I like that. So if the Discord feels like doing that, and, we'll try to plop it into the episode. I think that would
Sick.
be fun. If you feel like
Hell
it.
yeah.
If you don't feel like it, don't do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to police it.
Yeah. Follow your heart.
I don't want to put in work into it, but I'll read it if you do it. All right, we will see you in a little over a month. Thanks, Eminem.
Peace out.
Thanks, everybody.
Great to
Bye.
see you all. Bye.